Roll call?
Counselor Lehman,
Here.
Counselor Marcus,
Here.
Counselor Larson,
Here.
Counselor Keithley, Mayor Swanson.
Here. Reports from department heads? We don't have public works. Anything for fire steward?
Just what's on the agenda I can make up.
Okay. Engineering attorney, Mike?
Just what's on the agenda, Mayor?
Okay. Long range planning and zoning?
We had a meeting on August 8th. It was nothing really, we had any business, but we're gonna start doing some ordinance review and changing some ordinances at our next meeting, which would be
Updates.
updates to our ordinances and stuff. And I believe the next meeting will be October.
It would be unless we do a special one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's about, meeting lasted 20 minutes.
Okay. Recreation board?
We had a meeting last night, August 14th, just went over the minutes and some bills, and then we had talked about the beach blast, music in the park, and parade that's gonna happen this Saturday, and if anybody wants to volunteer, we'd be more than welcome to have them help us out with the parade and stuff, so should be a good time.
And what time are you meeting up at the school?
Meeting at the school for lineup at 10:30.
Well, the lineups will all be different. But
Well, 10:30, I'll be there by kind of.
So any volunteers, should they meet up at the school, or you want them to come to the park, or?
Yeah, they can come to the school or the park whenever they have time.
Take all the help you can get?
Parade will start at 11,
Okay,
so they'll go from the school to the park, and then the beach blast will be after that, so in the afternoon.
okay, very good. Library board will meet on Thursday, beta end of the month.
The month.
Utility committee, sheriff's report,
Nothing from the sheriff's.
Okay.
and clerk's report.
I don't really have anything except for, we're just getting ready for Saturday. Everything's in order. Tomorrow will be the last day for anybody to sign up for the parade. So you'll have to call City Hall if you want to be a part of it. We got our permit from the county for it. The food shelf will be here on Tuesday, the 22nd, from 11 to 1. And then the pet license, everybody has to have their pets licensed by August 31st.
Where is the food truck going to be? Is it still at the school?
Mhm.
Okay, there were some rumors going around that they weren't gonna be up there anymore.
Yep,
so-
it's still at the Martin Hughes School,
Okay, and that's Tuesday, the 22nd at
11 to 1.
11 to 1, okay, very
But
good.
I got a question.
Yeah.
What about the sheriff's card? Is that,
The
Yeah.
sheriff's car is over at Armory Shell. They're almost done with it. I think all they had left to do was the back seat, so.
Good.
Well, also, today I had gotten a call from Shortstop. Russ had said that they would donate a bunch of product for the parade. Today he called me. He'll be coming tomorrow to drop off $200 in gift certificates, a bunch of candy for the parade, and some other things for the park.
Very
Very
nice.
nice.
Right, Phil.
And Lyndon has volunteered his services to come on Saturday and videotape it so it can go on public access as well.
Huh.
cool?
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very,
Thank you,
very
Lyndon.
nice. Thank you, Lyndon.
Council additions to the agenda? Citizens forum? Consent agenda? Regular council minute meeting?
Oh,
I'll make a motion to accept the regular minutes of city council meeting August 1st.
support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Claims?
I'll make a motion that we pay our claims of $117,606.40.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 1721, resolution authorizing the city of BUHLAUG to accept funds from the FEMA fiscal year 2016 Assistant for Firefighters Grant Program.
Yeah, I can mention. This was part of that grant that we paid I don't know if it was $1,500 or $2,000 to have it written, the grant written for us. And this is what we got out of it. And this $38,250 is gonna go for a power load system in the ambulance. So be a push of a button in and out.
Wonderful.
Nice.
When are you going to be getting this, do you know?
I don't know that.
So we're signing the purchase order tomorrow, and it'll take 10 weeks to get here.
All right.
So, I'll make a motion, we accept resolution 1721.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Roll call?
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Counselor Larson?
Yes.
Counselor Keithley? Mayor Swanson?
Yes.
This is for the ambulance?
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
There was a bunch of money that came for the iron range, I guess. I don't remember who, but somebody got 300 and some thousand for a new truck. And that's one thing that we wanted too, but we didn't get that, so. At
Maybe
least
next
it paid off for the, you know, for the money that we spent to write the grant and stuff. It was, well
Right.
worth it again this year.
Good.
Right. Resolution 1722, South Industrial Park. Back in April, the council passed a motion to deed to place interest of the South Industrial Park with BETA. And the city needs a formal resolution in order to do the necessary paperwork.
I'll make a motion to accept, resolution 1722.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Roll call?
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Counselor Larson?
Yes.
Counselor Keithley? Mayor Swanson?
Yes. All right, transfer of funds from retiree benefits. This is a transfer we have to do every year. 4,000 from the general fund, 3,000 each from water, refuse, and electric funds to the internal service funds savings account for our retirees. Can I have a motion to transfer the funds?
I'll make a motion that we transfer $4,000 from the general fund and $3,000 each from the water, refuse, and electric funds to the internal service fund savings account.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All right, we received the attachment from the MIB Quarterback Club. They are looking for a donation for this fall.
BETA got this as well, so it'll
Yeah.
be on the agenda for the next BETA meeting too.
I was gonna say, typically,
Usually-
doesn't it
And-
just go to BETA?
Yeah, usually it does. They
That's what I
sent to
thought.
both.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that we've ever done it, or if we just leave it for BETA to make the donation.
I don't think we can make a donation.
Right.
Yeah, I'd just say let Peter do it.
Very
All
good.
right. So, no action taken. Martin Hughes School, we have Mr. Greg Perella to make a presentation tonight. Welcome.
Thank you.
Would you like to stand at the podium?
Okay, if I may?
Yes.
These are, the Councilman Marcus was nice enough to take me through the building last
very
week.
good.
So I did a grounds inspection, and these are, this is not a full developmental report, but it's gonna give us some talking points to
Okay.
kind of give you an idea where I think we need
Thank
to
you.
head.
Okay.
And getting additional input from you folks.
Can
And
I
we
give
can.
one for Counselor Keithley?
Oh, sure, we brought an extra one. Thank you. I think it'll give us at least some starting point, because it's a bit overwhelming.
Yes.
So I went out there last week. Well, first of all, I'm Greg Perella with Perella & Associates. I'm the owner broker. I'm also a certified appraiser.
Welcome.
So, thank you. And I looked at possibilities, what could be done with the building, what type of marketing could be done with it, and we're gonna kind of go through some of that. I won't take up a lot of your time, but stop me anytime if you have any more questions as we hit the talking points. My first impression was the amount of building infrastructure that's been done is phenomenal. Sprinkler systems, updated electrical, updated plumbing, the new roof. So those are all huge costs that our potential buyer isn't gonna have to do.
Right.
The negative side of it is, it's monstrous. There's 88,000 square feet, not counting the, when you count the auditorium, you're over 100,000 square feet. I did a little bit of research, and I could have my numbers a little bit wrong on the operating costs. However, it looks to me to be, if you look at what it would be on the tax rolls, insurance, and utilities, whoever purchases it's gonna be right around in about $170,000 a year range. If anybody has any information that I am incorrect, or if you think that's a good idea, we'd probably proceed with that, just as a, looking at the utilities and everything are on it. So the carrying cost, whoever, even if we gave the building to somebody, is gonna be about $14,680 a month. Just to kind of keep that in mind. A little bit about my company. I've had 27 years selling real estate. I do residential, I do commercial. I've got 2 sales now. I'm working with Minnesota Power's contracted me to their Chisholm facility and the Aurora facility, which I've sold. We did sell a school, and we've sold a number of churches, and they're what I call your non-typical sales. Everybody needs a house, not everybody needs a business or something like that. So, I looked also to who could our potential end users be. I did meet some calls to people I know that do assisted living, and some people that run some Alzheimer's units. The building itself is excellent, the size is prohibitive. They're not gonna have a need for that many people in Alzheimer's or in assisted living. Another option we can look at was somebody that might develop into apartments. However, when you go to the apartments, you're gonna have to redo a considerable amount of the plumbing to get individual baths and showers in every one. When I did look at the building, one of the things I did like was, it doesn't seem they removed any load-bearing walls. So the divisions they did, like Councilman Marcus showed me, because he remembers going to school there, which was very helpful. He said this room was twice its size. So doing some of that retro work on it wouldn't be too terribly bad. But again, it's gonna limit who's gonna be able to use that building. Possibly another lockup facility like they had. I checked, there's state funding available. We'd have to check into something like that. So I think that might be a possibility. I thought about manufacturing prospects. You do have that 7-bay garage, which would be a nice facility, but the person that's gonna use the 7-bay garage isn't gonna need 88,000 square feet of the other building. With the 13+ acres, I think you have some opportunities that if it was subdivided somewhat, that land could be sold for some other future with maybe side-by-side housing similar to you have now. There might be a development that I think this town has done a much better job of marketing that and selling it than Virginia has and Hibbing has. Hibbing has Masaba Pines, and they started out as a twin home, multi-home, side-by-side development, and wound up having to go back to the city and change their plan because nobody wanted it in Hibbing. Where here, when they come on the market, they do not sit on the market longer than 120 days, and their vacancy rate is very, very low. So for some reason, this community embraces it and it works real well here. Is there room for anything else like that? That's another possibility. The negative factor splitting it up, if you said, well, let's sell the land, let's sell the garage, and let's sell the school and the auditorium, limits the possibility of somebody buying the entire thing. When I've done similar deals like this, the difficult sale is going to be the school. If we had somebody that wanted to buy the school, then you might say, okay, we will sell you the school, and we'll take the excess land, and then we'll also take the garage. Those, I think, are easily marketed for a lot of other possibilities. The school is going to be our most difficult, and I don't mean anything negative about the school. It's a beautiful
Right.
building. It's just
The size.
it's the size. It's
Yeah.
daunting. And then you also have a swimming pool and 2 gymnasiums. So I looked at that. Now to come up with a price, well, let me back you up 1 second. In the back, you're gonna see that we co-op, our company is tied in with Realtor.com, which is worldwide. We have our own website, which is Perlin Associates or Perlin.com. And then we've tied in with, it's called List Hub. List Hub is a worldwide listing company that we send our listings to, and you can just see some of the people. We even send our information to Century 21, Remax, other real estate companies to keep them on board, and then they can bring us customers. So it's an excellent tie-in as far as buyers out of the area, which I don't know if we would have a buyer in the area, but we need to expand and do concentric circles, getting bigger and bigger to see what we can find and entice somebody to come up here.
Right.
I think a couple things we have in our favor. You know, the IRRB would look favorably on doing something with that building. I think, you know, our legislators, I
Right.
think, would be very helpful.
Yes.
And there may be even some federal funding for taking small communities and retrofitting buildings. I didn't have a lot of time to get into that, but I think that would be an avenue we'd like to look at and see what we can do and come up with something. The price. Real estate, you typically find 3 or 4 similar solds, and you say, well, it's either nicer than this or not as nice as that. There are no similar solds.
No.
No. The county has you assessed, I think, at $3.7 million on the tax rolls. You're probably not gonna like this next part, but I believe if you wanna try to get interest in the property,
Right.
and when I say interest, I mean, I think we have to tie the interest in, you have to look at a sale price. I think the sale price is the least
Important part.
important part of this whole equation.
I think we're all there with you on that. Greg.
Oh, okay, because.
We
I
want
mean-
that building filled.
Right,
That's
and
the
now we're gonna
biggest
get
thing.
money because we've got jobs, and we got, you know, taxes are being paid. It's a liability to the city right now,
Right.
having to do the maintenance and everything. So I put a price of $150,000, and it's a price that I think when other realtors pull up searches, in other words, they search stratas, what can I do, what am I looking for? I wanna be in northern Minnesota, I need a place with some land, I need this and this and this. That price, I think, is gonna get some notice. Now, I think more of a concern is that we protect the city. I've seen a lot of times, and I was on the TAC committee for the IRRB also, and I've seen a lot of situations where, my personal opinion, the IRRB got taken advantage of. And I think our concern is that the city doesn't get taken advantage of.
Right.
Somebody comes and says, geez, I'm gonna give you $150,000 for this building, and now they got it. I mean, there's probably enough used brick in there and copper pipes, pumps, everything else, they could make more than $150,000 and then leave the city with nothing. So whatever sale we wind up with, I think the city needs to put in different caveats, and I call them performance caveats. You know, one of the things might be, we're gonna own the building. We're gonna promise to sell it to you for $150,000, or we're gonna promise to give it to you. However, these things you need to meet. You need to put your money up first, not our money up first. And then when you hit all these points, then we're gonna give you the title to the building. So that way you keep control. Another advantage to a potential buyer, if the city keeps control, it's still tax exempt. So they could do some of their retrofitting and do whatever they wanted without having I think, Councilman Marcus, we thought it was around 35 or 45,000 that the taxes would be to a private sector. So they could save that while they're investing money. The other thing that we'd want to do is whoever is gonna start putting money in there and make changes, they need to be approved by, be it the council, be it you have somebody, you know, other than me, I'm not qualified for it, but those improvements need to be looked at and say, okay, you know what, if they do this, and we can discuss it, I'd be glad to discuss it, this may take away from our building if they don't complete it. So those are the kind of things I think we need to be real guarded about. Then we get to the commission. I do work for commission. I put a $20,000 commission in there. Commission is, by law, is negotiable. My reason for that is a couple. First of all, this is a large undertaking, which I'm happy to do. I get excited about projects like this. I sell a lot of 3-bedroom, 1-bath homes, so these, you have to use your brain, you have to think out of the box, and it's creative. The other thing we need to think about, if somebody has a potential buyer in Rochester, and we have a $5,000 commission, I give them 45% of our commission. Whoever sells a property that I list, I give 45. They're not gonna drive up for $2,200 and go look at a building, or fly in from Minneapolis or Tucson or wherever they might have that, if they're not gonna get paid. Again, the commission's negotiable, but that's my reasoning for doing it. The other thing is I would like about a 1-year listing contract. If for any reason I don't perform, well, you'll have it on record, you can say, Greg, you're not doing a good job, we don't want it anymore, we'll tear up the contract, and you don't owe me a penny. But, I mean, I believe I should perform for what I'm getting paid for. But, again, it's gonna take a lot of effort, so a 6-month listing, it's gonna take 3 or 4 months just to get this rolling. I mean, I need to spend a considerable amount of time back in the building. I need to take some more pictures, just get a little more detail. But I did get enough to kind of give me a feeling and a flavor for what's there. A couple ideas I did have was, I know they're always looking for places for veterans. You know, veterans are sadly, they're cast aside in a lot of places. So they're looking, I know this federal government is talking about trying to get places where, you know, they could have some kind of housing.
Right.
Again, I'm just fleshing this out a little bit, but these are just some things that I've been, as from my first encounter, starting to think of.
It's
what could
been
be
talked about since last year.
Okay.
That was one of the big ones,
Oh.
because we've got a lot of veterans in the area, and we
Absolutely.
see the need for it, but I'd also heard about a moratorium on them at the time being, and I'm not sure if that's in place
Yeah.
or not.
And again, it's just, these are some things I just thought about.
Yeah.
But I think those are the kind of areas we need to explore.
Right.
And possibly even before marketing, to talk to the state and to the IRRB, so that when a package is put together, we get a potential buyer, we can say, you know, if you fall in this criteria, there's a good chance, of course, we can't speak for them, but there's a good chance this state would like to get involved. They have an interest in getting involved in this.
Right.
The IRRB has funds set aside for this, or matching funds. So it would give us, basically it's sales. How can we sell this and how can we get somebody up in our community to just make the iron range better? I've been here all my life, so I have a vested interest and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. A few months ago, Darcy Novak also made a presentation for marketing the school for us, but at that time, we were still holding off. We have one interested party that has been showing interest for about a year now, and I just felt it was really time that we step it up and get a professional involved with marketing the school. I did contact her and I said, you know, we're going to have a presentation from Greg, and she said, well, you couldn't go wrong with him. He was a terrific mentor of mine. And she said,
That's kind of-
whatever you decide is fine by her. And I felt good about that because I brought her on board a few months ago, and she did show the building to a couple of people who had an interest, but it fell apart for them. And she said too, this is going to be a really difficult project, but we'd sure like to get a professional on board, so.
Well, I'd appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you might have somebody interested, that has expressed some interest.
Yes.
We put them on a protected list. Somebody will tell me, you know what, I've got somebody, I'll parallel this with a house. My cousin wants to buy my house, but I want to get it sold. What we'll do is we'll say, okay, we're gonna put your cousin on a protected list. Your cousin, if he buys it within, or makes an offer within the first 30 days, 60 days, whatever it might be, no commission is due, and I'm not due any money, then the city can go ahead and sell it. The problem, if you don't do something like that, and they go on and on and on, now I've got 9 months of spending money and doing this, and all of a sudden they show up and, oh, we decided to buy it. The benefit to the city is that you're gonna find out if this person's serious, because now they can buy it without a commission,
Right.
and however, whatever deal you put together would be fine. If you do have somebody like that, I would be glad to just lend my services to the city. If you have some questions how we could put this together, how to structure some things like that, I'd be glad to donate that, so.
I think that, you know, it's important that they see that there's a timeline, because we've got to move on with this. If they want it, we'd love to have them in there, because they are looking at using the full facility, but they had a lot of other issues that have been delaying.
Okay.
And so it's to a point now where we're getting past the marketing season. We got to get moving here.
Yeah, pretty
And,
much.
and this is a huge burden for the city to take care of, so the sooner we can market it, get somebody hopefully in there using it, the better off we all are. And frankly, my feeling is a commission or what we sell the building for is very secondary to getting that building in use again. So that's my main goal.
Well, I like the proposal because it's if I sell it, not money up front we had one proposal where pay me now and we'll see what happens.
No, that wasn't hers either. No, she
Well,
wasn't gonna get paid unless she
Well, in
sold
writing on
it.
her last thing, that's how it was. I brought it up even.
Oh, no, that wasn't my understanding. Oh, well.
The first presentation, she said, if I do this, I'll do this. The second presentation was, we'll do this for a year, but you owe me.
Well, it was only emails, so it technically wasn't.
Do
You
I?
know, I said it was only emails that she sent, so
No.
Wow.
it could be misconstrued.
But you said if we had a couple interest people that we have on our list that, those, we would highlight them and. tell you-
Exactly.
okay.
Well, we have one, right?
Well, there's
Would-
a couple,
just
I
the one.
think, no?
One that we're aware of.
Yeah.
And then give them, I always tell people or suggest to people that, you need to get somebody to move off center. They might be
Exactly.
thinking, oh, the city's had this so long, and now they're gonna do anything, pretty soon this and this, and I'll just keep waiting it out and waiting it out, and then you might lose somebody. So I always suggest, tell them, here's what we got going. We've had, and I can speak to Darcy, she's worked for me, and I can't say anything bad about Darcy.
No.
She was always very professional, so,
Right,
in that same vein, I would give her the same compliment.
yes. That makes me very comfortable with going with either one of you. I think that both of you have shown that you've got dynamic personalities and really go get them, which we really need to have somebody to go in
And
and
it's a fun,
after it.
I mean,
and-
it's an exciting project, it really is.
Yes.
To put something in there would be quite an accomplishment.
It would be a boon to our area,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Greg,
Yes.
I got one question for you.
Yes, sir.
What if we, what would your thoughts be if we went with lower sale price on it? I mean,
What I first wrote down was 50,000. And again, we're fishing. Sales is fishing. We're out there fishing. We want to see who's gonna knock on our door.
Right,
And the other possibility is, you might get somebody say, you know what, if you ever sell that 7-bay garage, I'm interested and I'm a cash buyer. So now we've set that person aside. We might get somebody that says, I'm interested in school, but I'm not interested in that land or whatever. So, then we can kind of put a group together that, we've got this and this and this, gives us some other option. But because what happens is people search in stratas. When you're looking for a house, you search, here's about as low as I want to spend, and here's about as high as I can spend, and then you search just a little higher, figuring that they might come down a bit. So the search criteria that's going to come up on Realtor.com and all these other sites is what they're looking for,
Yeah.
So, again, I think I've had a couple other ones I've done, the churches I've done and the other school I did, I think I sold the school for $5,000. It was the Assumption School in Hibbing,
okay.
um,
Well, I like the protection clauses that you talked about. I mean, yeah, it's worth more to us on the tax roll than it is a dollar amount.
yeah.
But to protect ours, the way you were talking, that protects the city and the school and funds, grants that we could possibly get.
Yeah. Well, just to keep in mind, I work for you. I'm under, if this goes through, which I hope it does, I work for you. So you're my vested interest, not the buyer. I represent the seller. So my vested interest is when we get done with this, that it's a good project, it's a benefit to the city, it's making money, and at the end, would love to have you say, Greg, you did a good job for us.
Right,
And that's what's important, not some of these deals, well, you can look at the mess Esser has over there. Poor city of Nashwauk they've just got a can of worms there, and they were, in some way, sold a bill of goods. I don't fault the city for it, because it was an exciting thing and it all looked good, but, it was kind of, they spent the money and then worried for the return. Let's keep our ace in the hole, which is the school and the grounds, and then when somebody performs, then we'll perform. Instead of vice versa. I just think it's good business.
it makes sense,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. If you have any other questions, I'll be glad to.
I can't think of any.
My card is in the back of the folder, and if you have any questions, if any of you want to contact me individually with a question that might come up, please feel free. I'm available 24/7, so don't be bashful.
All right, well,
I
thank you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Greg.
Take care.
No action? What, you know,
Or are we interested in moving forward with this?
Well, let's put the two proposed together and then
we can think about it, and
wait for the
Yeah.
couple weeks.
I'd even also like to have maybe full council too.
That would be good.
Yeah.
If he'll be here at the next meeting, he's been missing a long time here.
And maybe invite
busy.
Darcy to the next meeting, because we've never even met her.
Yeah, we've
right?
never met her.
We've never heard from her.
You know, that would be good.
So
I
maybe
will talk
give her
to
an
Darcy
invite
and
to
see if
the-
she'd like to come and make her presentation.
Yeah, get all the information.
And figure out just what it is, because John and I evidently had different ideas on what her proposal was, and I guess I would just like some clarification from her directly, so that'd be
Sure.
good. All right,
I'd like to see her.
all right, so we'll take no action on that for tonight. And move on to trailer water, court water main, Grant Street Alley. You got some information for us, Jennifer?
Yeah. So I guess people started sending in, we got the contract from CDBG, people started sending them in, and the county wasn't sending them back signed. And people were wondering why. It's because HUD is telling them that it's gonna be another 30 to 45 days hold up for the money. Why the county won't sign if it's just a hold up, I don't know, but
Okay, so at this time, we can't move forward with the project.
I don't think it would be a wise choice,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because if
The money isn't
If
there
it
yet.
falls
It's- it's
through,
not-
yeah.
No.
So we'll have to hold off and see what happens with that, okay.
We can we just have John postpone or extend it again? More?
he could ask Joel and Sop for another 30 day, we haven't actually awarded, we haven't signed anything, so.
Okay.
Do you want to make a motion?
Well, I don't know,
I think it would require a motion to have John Jamnick.
'Cause we
have
already did
Joel
it
and Stop
once.
extended an extra 30 days.
yeah, extend this project hours.
So another 30 days beyond the 30 days we just got?
Because it could take 30 to
When is
45
that 30
days.
days up?
Well, John was just here on August
First.
1st, so,
And you got this August 8th.
he did a 30 day after he left here, the next day he did it, so
When's the next,
Joel and Sop were gonna start around the end of the month. And
when's the meeting in September? Are you still within the 30 days?
September
We
5th.
would be, oh,
Well, I think
Well, we'd
everybody's
just be a
waiting
couple
for this
days
somewhat.
off.
It's not just Buell.
Well, they are, but he started a project in Evelyn.
Yeah, I
that
know.
They're waiting for this money too, and he started it already.
well, why don't we ask John to put a further extension if needed with the HUD holdup, because he'll be aware of that anyway.
He's aware of this.
Yeah.
But we should have
Because
a
if we
motion
don't-
for him to go ahead and,
We should get the money, right?
hopefully,
I mean,
yeah.
We should, but I just wonder why, if it's guaranteed money, why they just aren't sending the contracts
Yeah,
back
because
signed.
usually July 1st
Yeah,
is that
if they know they're getting it and they
Yeah.
say,
Right.
well,
D-Day or whatever.
you know, we're gonna get it, but you need to cover the costs until then why aren't they signing the contracts and sending them back?
so there would be a possibility that we wouldn't get it at all.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, they said they would, and then here they're delaying
Mike, do you know
30 to
anything about
45
that?
days.
No, it just appears that HUD hasn't released the money yet, so everybody's,
Mm-hmm.
nervous Nelly, it's all on the come, so to speak, and why would we sign an agreement? Because do you have the wherewithal to satisfy this contract if the money doesn't come?
Yeah, the county
Yeah.
doesn't wanna be on the hook for all
Yeah.
this money.
So they're waiting until they actually get the money.
So I think if we ask John to maybe extend this another 30 days past the extension already,
Or until HUD releases the money.
or, yeah.
Could-
We'll have to make sure that the project, because if he was gonna start at the end of August and be done by around November 1st, we would have to make sure that the timeline is even still
Yep.
feasible.
Well, it's all frost. I mean, you got,
Well, John would be aware of that
Mhm.
too when he's talking to Joel and Sop, but I think we should give him the flexibility to, hold the project off until the HUD money comes through.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we have John hold this for another extension of 30 days.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Discussion on the progress of the disc golf course. It's been slow.
The IRRB
Some
is
of the
one.
It's getting there.
The IRRB would like a report as to what the progress is out there.
They've been just doing the groundwork, just clearing brush, and they had the hog, what do they call that thing?
Brush
The
hog.
brush
Brush
hog.
hog out there. Yes, they got that out there, and we're using that a bit, but that's about as far as they've gotten. They've gotten most of their holes cleared to some extent,
Good.
so.
What about this? Artificial turf?
It's kind of a non-issue at this point. When Tim and I talked about it, he said that, you know, he of course is aware of the budget. He wouldn't go with it if it's too much.
Yeah, but I was just wondering, I mean, artificial turf out in the open, the elements.
How it's gonna hold up?
Yeah, at least concrete would be 80 years.
You know, this is a while out yet too, Stuart, so I'll talk to him about that and see what the long-term plan would be if they do go that route, because
I mean,
he said that's something that they're starting to do now.
I
but-
guess I would just assume, my own preference, just stick to
Concrete.
the regular, you know, the contract of what
All right, okay.
was.
Original contract.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
yeah,
to find
IRRB
out.
didn't have a problem with a variation like that if they saw fit to do it, as long as it's within budget. You know, that's their only concern at the IRRB. But
that's-
I can sure talk with,
That's
Because-
the initial
about
concern,
that.
but what in 3 years, when there's no grant money, if it costs $10,000 to replace that turf, who's
And I
gonna
mean-
pay for it?
Even if we went with artificial turf later, at least the concrete would be there, you know. It would be there, and
well, it's not
Yeah.
something that they're working on at this point of the project, so I could certainly talk to him, but I
Yeah.
don't think
There
it's
may
gonna
be
be
some
an issue.
variations in the future yet
It needs to
again,
be an
so.
issue.
Well, I'm not sure where the concrete goes and artificial turf goes, so, I mean,
They have a pad to, I think.
where you
start
throw
on the
from, or
hole.
where you land, or what?
Virginia,
No, I'm
no.
walking the park in Virginia, they put in it's kind of a phased in, and now they're putting the concrete pads, which I assume was the start of the hole.
At the start of the hole.
The T-pads, they're
Oh.
called apparently.
So it's
they have, what do they put in their concrete? there?
concrete, yeah, they just went in this last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have them before, I think they're
Just using
improving
that,
the
yeah.
course as they can.
Yeah.
Yep,
And that's what I would think that we should probably stick to, is improving it when we can.
It's a different designer over there
Yeah.
too, though.
Yeah.
See where it gets once they've done clearing too and approach it at that time.
yeah. Okay, any other business? Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support. Oh, darn. Cut you off, John.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, this meeting's adjourned.